Yokoso peeps, it's Oz and welcome to December 23rd, my birthday. Oh, and it's also the Emperor of Japan's birthday too. But that's neither here nor there. I'm making a video every day from December 1st to 25th using this advent calendar. So let's open up the chocolate for December 23rd. Right here. Oh, it's a shooting star, just like me. So according to your votes, you like to see the summary of my life. So let's not waste any more time. That's 32 years you want to hear about. I'm going to go through every year of my life from my first to my 32nd year and give you my highlight and lowlight of each year. Being born and seeing a girl naked. The naked girl was my mom. I was given a teddy bear for my birthday, which I loved and was my best friend. I called him Amita, which was the name of a famous Bollywood actor at the time. So my dad was still trying to be cool, and he had a really cool sports car. I think it was a Camaro. Anyway, it was old and used, so it didn't have any seat belts. So one day while we were driving, apparently he had to make a sudden stop, and when he hit the brakes, I rolled onto the floor. That explains a lot. My grandma came to live with us, and although she smelled really weird, I really liked her. So sometimes my parents would send me to a babysitter, and she was evil. When I was sick and my mom gave her baby aspirin, her daughter would eat them all. Then one day when one of the other babies woke up, I got blamed for it and she kicked me in the stomach. Then she made me promise I'd never tell my parents. Oops, I guess the secret's out. I started daycare and met my first friend, Natalie. So in daycare, I was the only brown person there, I guess, and I told them I was Indian, and they mistook me for being native Indian rather than Indian. So on my birthday, they made me make headdresses with feathers on them and run around the class going, "Ah, ah, 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 ah." It was the 80s, it wasn't very politically correct, what can I say? I moved to a neighborhood called Forest Manor, and I also met one of my best friends, Kareem. I also ended up meeting a bully. He was in 6th grade and really mean. I don't remember his name, but the first day he saw me, he picked me up, put me upside down, and dangled me until my pants fell off. I was running around in my Smurf underwear trying to get my pants back. I still can't look at Smurfette the same way. My sister was born, so I became a big brother, which meant I had someone to pick on. My grandma moved back to the United States to be with my cousin. I met my first Asian friend. His name was Jonathan Sitt, and he taught me how to draw Garfield. He was awesome. My teacher was Miss Healy. She was the worst teacher in school. She once slapped me and threw me against the wall. Why do women keep beating me? 5 words. Back to the future. My parents got a new car. I was hoping it would be a DeLorean, but it was a Pontiac. A girl named Susie thought I was really cute and she kissed me. She had the cooties, so I didn't enjoy it. I joined my first sports team. I decided to play baseball, and I was actually pretty good. My parents were poor and cheap, which is a really bad combo. So instead of getting a real Toronto Blue Jays baseball jersey, they took me to the flea market and bought me a fake Chinese version. The Blue Jay didn't even look like a bird, it looked like a squirrel. I had Kentucky Fried Chicken for the first time in my life. It was the first spark to my future obesity. Miss Healy was my teacher again. This time she confiscated my red professional yo-yo. Bitch! I met Michelle Hurdle, my first crush. I moved away and never saw Michelle Hurdle, my first crush, again. Puberty hit and everyone had acne except me. Puberty hit and I got everything except acne. I got fat, hairy, and awkward. 2 more brown people moved into my area and joined my school. So I wasn't the only one. Now there were 3 brown people who were getting bullied and beat up. I bought my first music tapes. Michael Jackson Thriller, Michael Jackson Bad. I also bought my first red leather jacket and red leather pants. I think I was the only boy dressed as the red Thriller Michael Jackson in the 90s. I was a little behind on pop culture. I grew like 4 centimeters. I was still about 10 to 15 centimeters shorter than everyone else. including the girls. I got my driver's license. I was only allowed to take the car to drive my parents to church or to take my aunt to her seniors' home get-togethers. So the car always smelled like old people. I entered high school. I was legal and had my first sip of alcohol, jungle juice. I accidentally caught my parents in the bedroom. It wasn't a pretty sight. Still have nightmares. So no one wanted to go to the prom with me, which sounds like a negative thing, but actually my friend Jason and I, we dressed up as the guys from Dumb and Dumber and we went together. It was one of the funnest nights of my life. I asked out my first girl ever. I got rejected for the first time ever. This is a trend that would continue for a long time in my life. I entered York University to study English literature and communications. My parents moved far away and I wasn't allowed to stay at the school and I had to commute, so I had a 2-hour commute each way. 4 hours in a Toronto bus sucks and stinks. Literally. Smells like urine. I was legal to drink and gamble in the United States, so I went to Vegas. I legally gambled, I legally drank, I lost it all, and then I puked. I got my first real long-term girlfriend. I had to deal with her mother, who hated me and always tried to set her up with her step-cousin, which is kind of gross. I went to postgraduate and studied public relations and joined a group of friends called the Posse. I broke up with my long-term girlfriend and went all emo. I went to Japan to teach English. I was still a little bit emo, so I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have. Let's just say Suntory was a very good friend of mine. Realized this is the best part of my life and decided to party and date as much as I could. Although I was in Japan, even though I was having fun and partying, I didn't bother to learn Japanese, and that was a big mistake. I met Miho, my future wife, and my friend Kareem came to visit and we toured around Japan and had a blast. Those first few months of dating Miho, my phone bill was like $300 a month. I proposed to Miho. Actually, nothing negative really happened this year. It was probably one of my favorite years of my life. I got married to Miho. I decided to quit my job and leave Japan. I moved to Vancouver, one of the prettiest cities I've ever lived in. In Vancouver, Miho couldn't get a job because she didn't have a work permit, so we were basically surviving on one income, and my job sucked. So we stayed in Mr. Lee's basement apartment. I moved back to Toronto near my family. I started going bald. I found J-vloggers on YouTube and I started vlogging myself. And I got my dog, Maple. I didn't really enjoy my job and I kept feeling like I should be in Japan. I decided to apply for JET and then I came back to Japan. And I became a YouTube partner. Once again this year, nothing really to complain about. Except my baldness. Well, sorry if my life bored you, but it's my birthday, I can vlog if I want to, vlog if I want to, vlog if I want to. You would vlog too if this happened to you, ba 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 ba.